Welcome to Crack the Friendship Code. I'm your host, Theodora Voss. My pronouns are her, she, hers. I'm seated against a white wall with vinyl records hanging up behind me. I have long blonde hair with highlights today, and I am a Black woman with a dark and warm skin tone. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're seasoned here, nice to connect with you again. I've been in the learning and development industry for over 13 years, and I've contracted for some of the largest companies in tech. I love learning and I love teaching. I've experienced so much of my own loss in life, from losing my mom at age 13 to my best friend passing away and going through a divorce all at the age of 26. I understand the importance of developing genuine friendships as a result. All of these experiences and lessons birth what you see now as Crack the Friendship Code. On our show, you're going to hear from myself and other women who have achieved success in different levels of their lives, whether it be career, business, or passions. Along the way, we have all discovered the importance of aligning our friendships with our purpose. Our hopes are that you too can ignite purpose-aligned friendships and have more meaningful and genuine friendships. And with that, let me introduce today's guest. Every woman who is on our show is nothing short of amazing and wildly successful. Meet Valerie Maxim, a proud mother of 4 children and a grandmother to 2 beautiful granddaughters. Her journey as a mother has shaped her passion for empowering others to cultivate self-confidence and embrace an authentic lifestyle. She is committed to personal growth and wholeheartedly believes in the power of self-acceptance and living in alignment with one's true self. Through her work, she strives to guide and inspire individuals to discover their inner strength, overcome self-doubt, and embrace their unique identity. As a dedicated advocate for authenticity, she is passionate about helping others break free from societal expectations and societal norms, encouraging them to embrace their passions, values, and aspirations. By creating a nurturing space and offering guidance, she aims to support individuals in their journey towards self-discovery and living a life that aligns with their true essence. So with that, welcome, Valerie.
Well, thank you for having me on here. I guess I'm telling a little bit about myself. I identify as she and her. I have a blurred background today on my Zoom call. I have long blonde hair, and today it is braided in a side braid with blue eyes. I'm a white woman who loves empowering people to discover and to embrace their authentic lifestyle.
Yes, I love that. And I guess with that, this is a perfect transition because you talked a little bit about what you're passionate about, and we heard that all throughout, your bio. So generally, I've noticed that career for people can be mistaken as synonymous with purpose, yet it's not necessarily the career itself. Like sometimes the career is just a vessel, for you to live out your purpose, right? So
Mhm.
for you, you talked a little bit about passion of helping people get to their authentic selves and their true essence. Um, how did you discover that that was your purpose?
Oh, it's been a journey. I didn't really discover that till I was like 50 years old. I divorced 8 years ago at 44 years old, and for the first time on my own since 19. So I've always been, around people that kind of led the way and, would tell me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And I just became my norm. I didn't even realize that. So when I did divorce for the second time 8 years ago, I realized how broken I was. And it wasn't, all the stories I can tell you. And I'm not going to play victim mode there. I had to turn the spotlight on me and to find out why I allowed all that I allowed, and why it took me so long, to break free from that. And I realized when I had a life coach and I had to fill out the questionnaire they give you, I couldn't even answer the questions. That was a very big aha moment. Things like, where's your favorite place to vacation? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite drink? Just things that people should know. I mean, I just had no, it was very eye opening. It was like, I don't know any of this. And I think that's what kind of sparked myself into being like, okay, I need to know who I am. I need to figure out who I am. And my life coach is like, you need a hobby and you need to find something that you have your outlet in, that you can do outside of work, that you can, build self-confidence, and that's that in it. So it was just a journey that just evolved without even, I wasn't really setting out to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. It just kind of fell into place. And as the pieces begin to fall into place over the last 8 years, I have so many aha moments, so many, life-changing 180-degree turnaround, discoveries. And so now at the end of the day, I realized my entire life I didn't live authentic to me. And so no wonder I didn't attract the right things for me because I wasn't even showing up my true authentic self. So of course I wasn't attracting the right opportunities, friendships, people. And once I allowed myself to heal and to just be me, wherever I'm at, just be myself, I realized I started attracting, the right people that, were solid friendships, the right opportunities that I felt like, wow, this is aligned with my purpose. And it's just such a freeing thing to show up every day being true to you rather than showing up trying to be what everybody else wants you to be or that person they expect you to be, or that gets very tiring and weighing down when you're having to show up with expectations on you every day when you don't know what's right, what's wrong. Am I doing this right? Am I not doing it right? And I just decided I'm not going to live like that anymore. And by doing that, literally my life has changed.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, that is difficult. So let me ask you a question. Was it that you had never done some of these things on your own and that's why you didn't like have answers for those questions? Or was it that, you just kind of went with the flow of what, partners or friends, were liked or explored?
I just kept the peace. And so when somebody says we're going to eat here or we're sharing this meal or we're going to vacation here or we're buying this furniture, it was just, you're just kind of told. And it's just for me, I always thought I was doing the right thing. Like I'm just a peacekeeper. I get along with everybody, I just keep the peace. And so almost like that people pleaser, it's just what everybody else wants and whatever's best for them. So I didn't even realize that I didn't truly, I mean, I could have come up with an answer, but it wouldn't have been the right one. Like I really didn't know, like off the top of my head, what the right answer was because I was kind of always told different things. And so yeah, so I think that I think it was just my environment.
I really like that, and I hear a lot of people struggle in their friendships, and that's why we'll have them, first start with their own vision and then carve out the areas of their lives that they really feel like are attached to that vision and find friends that fit those areas. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with and then wonder why some of the friendships can be like a little turbulent or, um, not really leading to their highest good.
Right. And just a side note on that too, another thing that I like to share is the relationship you have with yourself is the foundation for all of your relationships. And I didn't realize that. So, if your foundation's not strong, it can last a while. I mean, if you build a foundation of a house, it can last a while before the walls start cracking, but it's not going to last forever. And I realized looking back that, the people I dated, the friendships, the different things, like I would always have waves of friends come and then go and then come and then go. And looking back at myself, I never had a relationship with myself that was strong. So I wasn't attracting the right, strong, solid relationships that I needed that could go the lifetime, right? That are the quality people, like you're saying. And so now I feel like I have some really quality people in my life because I can have boundaries. Now I can speak my voice, now I can just be myself. And these people like me for me. I'm not trying to have to fit into their box or fit into how they think I need to behave or act, to be welcome around them. And that's just, I don't know, it's taken me a long time to get here, but
Yeah.
I do see the importance of it, of really knowing who you are. Because if you don't know who you are, it's hard to, I lived my life looking for love and acceptance in other people, and I would never found it because there was never a person that gave that to me. And I don't even know if it's really possible, in that, and I found in this journey of healing, I just woke up one day and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I have this feeling of just love and peace and I don't like I lack for nothing. And I'm like, this is what I've been looking my entire life for in a man, in
Mm.
friendships, and that aha moment of wow, I just found it on my own. I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I resonate with that so much. You have no idea. Because yeah, the journey to figuring out who you are it can be a rocky one. And I would encourage anyone that's listening to, um, sometimes we think it's one thing, and then we get a little fearful when we decide to change or pivot, but it's okay to explore. It's okay to experiment. It's okay to figure it out for yourself and not really be concerned with what people will say about, your changes or your decisions or your choices in that moment. You have to figure it out for you, you know?
Yeah. And when I did that, a sidebar of it was one by one, I started losing friends.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And looking back, I would never say anything bad about any of those friends because people come in our life for a season or reasons to teach us something. So it's not to say anything bad about them. It's just where I was growing to and where they were at. It just wasn't aligning anymore. And that was really hard on me when one by one you're like, okay, I can't lose another friend. And then you lose that one. Oh, I can't lose another friend. What am I doing wrong? And it wasn't that I was doing anything wrong. It's just where I was going on my journey next. These other people were going other places, and it was time for me to find people, that were, for my next level of living, if you want to say, or, that were kind of have been places that I was going to, that they are
Mm-hmm.
further ahead than me. I needed some of those people in my life.
That's really good. So that kind of plays into one of the next questions I have for you. What are some of like those beliefs or norms that you had to break up with? Like you just said, that belief that some people were ahead of you and that you needed them, or some other friendship norms that you maybe had to part ways with.
Well, for me, I was always with people that just told me what to do. And, because that just was a pattern of that type A personality, in charge. Some people want to say narcissist. I don't think they're all narcissists, but that behavior of they're dominating and never giving me the room to have my say. And so I realized when I got out of those relationships with a man that a lot of my girlfriends were the same way. They
Mm-hmm.
were just the type A. They just didn't make them bad or anything. They were just driven, and this is what we're doing. And then when you don't, line up with exactly what they want, or if they want you to come do this and you don't want to because you're busy. I'm busy studying. I'm getting things ready for my working on my life coaching things. And they don't always understand because they're used to you just jumping and hopping and going the second they say something. But now when I'm now having to have some boundaries to say, no, I can't keep doing those things because now I need to be studying. I've got to get up at 5 a.m. I have to work all day. I have a very big schedule because I'm having, as a single woman, all these things that I have to get in my day. And where I'm at doesn't align, with some of my friends because most of them were married and they were stay-at-home moms. They didn't have to work, which is nice, but I was in a completely different place at this time when I had divorced, that I don't just get to stay at home like before. And sometimes they don't understand that. They're like, well, you can come out with us, you can do. And it does get hard because you want to please your friends and you don't want to lose your friendships. But at the same time, if I kept doing that, well, first of all, I wouldn't have my bills paid, because it's like I have to pay my bills. I have all these things I have to do. And so I think that was a lot of the things I had to let go of, just letting go of the familiarity that I had with those certain friendships. It was just easy and comfortable. But to go where I had to go on my next phase of life, it wasn't going to happen if I didn't let go of those things.
Yes, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and having those conversations about, like, hey, these are new things that I have to do. That's kind of difficult. It's a little challenging. So,
Right.
shout outs to you for being able to like assert yourself and stick up for yourself. It's not easy all the time, especially when you've had these friendships for a while and you want to nurture them.
It's not easy. And then you almost start feeling imposter syndrome because then they start talking about you. Well, who does she think she is? Like, what? She's like going to be a public speaker and a life coach. Like, they don't know me in that realm, right? So then they're trying to
Yeah.
doubt you and talk about you. And then you'll hear things. And I don't believe it. They were like, trying to say it to be mean, but it still is hurtful when you're trying to rise up. So you need people around you that have been there. I needed to be around people who had already done like a lot of self development and had already worked on themselves and healed, and just finding that different environment of people that I could be around. And again, it's some people look at it like, oh, you're above us. And it has nothing to do with that. I'm not above anybody. It's my journey where I'm going. It just is it's just a different I don't want to even say level. It's just a different phase. So you guys are still over here. and I'm having to go over here, it doesn't make one of us better than the other. It's just we both need to be on the journey that we're meant to be on if we want to, get to where we're ultimately want to get to in life.
Absolutely. And I really like that you keep emphasizing, it's not necessarily malicious. It's not that they want it to be like this way. Some people are type A. And most people don't really ever get to go through like true personal development or self-development type of like they're not in that environment. And so
Yeah,
when you step into like a space of coaching or, like my background is learning and development. So like I've been exposed to so much learning, so much coaching, so much, personal development over the years that most people don't get that. So we do need some grace with folks on our exit, in our
exactly. And I
transition.
never on my journey want, when I'm talking places and doing things to ever think, oh yeah, she thinks she's better and she left us and or I, it's not that. Like I would never be malicious. I just look at it that our time together, we had a reason, a season, something together, and I wish them well. And then I'm on to my next journey.
Exactly. That makes sense. So, were there any positive friendships or like, like really not necessarily positive, but like just friendship experiences that really impacted your journey in more of a upward way?
I had one. The interesting thing is it was a male. And like growing up, I never had guy friends because I got married at 18, and the person I married, I wasn't allowed to talk to guys. And that was a very tough marriage. And then I immediately married someone else. And I wasn't around other men really. It wasn't like it just, I would just had, I lived my whole lifetime not having guy friends, knowing how to talk to men. So on this journey, I've learned how to create friendships with men because it's healthy. I mean, you're working with men. I mean, it can't be like, oh, you're so weird, your guy can't talk to you. But I mean, that's how my core foundation was. And I needed to fix that. And it's very interesting that a guy at the gym I worked out with, he was in corporate America, and he's very good at mentoring people. He was like top level, and he would usually take on about two young men that he would a couple young men that he would mentor, and that's just what he did. He'd pour everything in them. It never really, and to my knowledge, he's never mentored a female. I don't think so, and he doesn't even know why he took me under his wing, but he did,
Mm, mm,
and he just became like my best friend. Like he would text me every day. And it was purely on a friendship level. It was just purely he wanted to see me win, and he would send me the right text. You're a rock star. You've got this. I believe in you. Just all the things in the beginning when you just don't believe in yourself.
mm,
And he would meet up with me at Starbucks, and we'd lay things out for my book to write things out, how we're going to do this. He would listen, and he always gave me honest feedback, even if I didn't want to hear it, or he'd be like, yeah, that doesn't, he never sugarcoated things for me. And
mm.
sometimes you need friends like that. And
Yeah.
he it's all about just seeing me to win in any area of my life. And he's been in my life now about 4.5 years.
Mm,
And it's been priceless. And now I do recently, this last 6 months, I've really, maybe 9 months, engaged in some really good women networking groups. And I have some wonderful women in my life. But I think he just really helped me heal a lot of that in believing in myself. And like, okay, now it's time for you to connect with the women, we need connection. I didn't realize how I had myself on an island because I had just blocked everybody out, men, women, all
mm,
of it. Like just I'm good by myself. I've been hurt by too many people. And then I realized on that we do need connection. We do need friendships. We do need to connect with the right people. And just because I wasn't connecting with my people because I wasn't showing up my authentic self, it doesn't mean that some people think, all people are bad, or I got hurt by this and I just don't want people in my life anymore. I don't want girlfriends. Women are mean. They're catty. They're this, they're that. When you find your right people, it can turn your life around in so many ways because the right people really do have your back, and they really do empower you, and they really do, want to speak life into you. And I'm learning that and realizing that it is important to have even if it's a small group of people, it's important.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, it only takes three, or one
Yeah.
or two,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. Yes.
Um, I love that. So, okay, something that I get asked a lot by our audience is how do we go about making new friends? So on your journey for you, what was that like? How did you start? So, okay, I'll preface it with this. We always say, here that friendships are a risk, and that's just anything people related is a risk, but it's about still trying anyway because we need connection as you've alluded to. So, what things did you do? How did you put yourself out there to start making new friends after you kind of started to
Right.
find yourself more?
So you are right. It's a risk because, as I said, I wasn't really in for that. And one of the things my friend taught me was he said, trust is earned, never given. I have lived my whole life just giving trust like the second I know you're a nice person and just giving it, just freely giving it, not taking the time to really get to know someone to see if I want you to be my friend, to see if you're the kind of person that would be a good fit to be my friend. And I think when you don't have any expectations in the beginning, like I started going to networking events, I don't have expectations. I'm just going. And I'm like, okay, my people will find me because I'm showing up my authentic self. When it's time for me to talk, I speak. When it's time for me, I say hi to people. I look them in the eye. I mean, I'm doing my thing. I'm being myself. And I just started connecting with people, just not even trying, just being myself, just naturally connecting. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, they're my best friends, they're my this, but you go back week after week and trust is built. And then you have a coffee or you go to lunch and it's been a process. And I just think if you can just have not really have expectations, because I think when we have expectations, like, well, I'm going to go to this ladies event and I'm going to meet all these women, they're going to be so great. And then you get there and you're not being your authentic self. You're getting into some conversations that are just backbiting, women gossiping, and you're like, there's no like trust there, and you don't have a good energy about it. And you're like, see, all women but but if you can go into it, like I said, with no expectations, find the people in the room, just listen, because you can just listen to when people talk and like, okay, that's my girl over there. Like, I like how she's talking and sharing. I want to, get to know her a little bit more. And then again, it's just building the trust, building the friendship, asking them to go out for coffee. Um, it's a process. So if you're wanting to have good friendships, you have to look at it and you want them to be a lifetime and you're picking them, take the time to invest in the friendship and see where it goes. I think that's why, like you said, if you have one good friend or three, I'm a person that I could just have one. I don't need 25 like best friends. I think it gets to be too much sometimes. So I do think if you have quality over quantity of your inner circle of your close friends, to me, that's where I have found the joy in my friendships, because I do know a lot of people, but I would have very few people that are in my inner circle.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's where there's like layers to friendships, right?
Yeah.
And that's something else we kind of really dive deep into in our tribe is just really focusing on, sometimes that there's lanes for people, so don't want to necessarily toss someone away because they're not that deep friend and not everybody should be like an inner circle friend, right? But you can figure out what lanes people fall into and not everybody should be in your inner circle. So I wholeheartedly agree with that. And the observation, the listening piece, like, oh, I'm a champion for that because it's true. You just listen to people. Are they
Mhm.
using affirmative language? Are they gossiping? Or do they have plans? Are they in action? Like, are they your people? And you'll find out really quickly by just listening. So I
Yes.
love that. Okay. So Valerie, I keep wanting to sing the song. I'm not going to do it, but this is your opportunity to ask me any friendship related question that you may have, or maybe something that you want a different perspective on.
Any friendship. What is the longest friendship you've had? Like, as far as a girlfriend, do you have any that are like, from way back, and do you still see them and do things with them? Do you take that time to connect or
Yeah, so my longest friendship, oh, I think now, let's see, we're in 2023. So I think it's been what, 13 years? We were in high school together. And
mm,
actually we revived the friendship like in our adult years and we started doing like an Instagram live together every so
okay.
often. And then we would like, touch base via phone. So we did stuff like that together. But yeah, longest one has been 13 years. I was like you. I went through the cycles of friendship because I got married pretty young too. I was 22. And so, losing the friendships of like, oh, I was married, these were his friends and our friends. So kind of losing those friendships. And then moving to Texas, I had to kind of reestablish some friendships. And then once I realized, oh, I'm a little bit of the problem when it comes to who I'm picking, I was like, oh, okay, time to time to reshift that. And now I'm at a place where I think I have probably some of like my lifelong friendships and some of the most encouraging friendships. And we have goals, we have dreams, we share them with each other, we encourage each other. Like I get little voice notes, and they're not all here in Texas, but they're
Right.
across, the states. And I just feel like I'm really, really blessed and fortunate with the types of friendships I have now.
Right.
But it took me a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the journey with us and being vulnerable with us. There's not a lot of podcasts that focus on, how we become better friends, and so I know that your story is going to help any other women that listen and anybody that listens in really. And how can people engage and connect with you? And we'll also put it in the show notes. But what is like one of the main ways that people can engage with you?
The main way I have my handle for Facebook and Instagram is Maximizing Life. So again, my last name is MAKSYM. So it's Maximizing Life spelled that way. And my website is maximizinglife.com that, anybody can find me there as well.
Absolutely. We'll make sure to include it in the show notes. Thank you so much for being on today, Valerie. And bye, everybody.
Bye.